I'm not slacking. I just got coffee. Hello, guys. Oxford. And my clocks haven't switched back yet. I don't even have my headset on. Well, I hope everybody is well. We're about to have some fun with some Star Citizen news that I have not watched yet. Well, since you're here, Oxford, I probably gotta type all my passwords in it because I just did all the updates and. Well, anyways, I'll see. Since I got a couple minutes here. This is what I've been working on. Let's change this to. All right. Are you looking, Oxford, or did you walk away? All right, so these are tabs right here. So you make a page and then you assign it to a tab. So I'm starting out with the news tab being active, so it'll display like my news things here. Then I'm gonna put my gaming orgs here, and then the Discord. My Discord will be here, and then my YouTube. And then my Twitch, which instead of having all the videos right here, the Twitch Hall of Fame, and then everybody that joins our streaming group, when they click here, all of our streaming group will pop up in the Twitch wall. And then I'm going to put this is going to go to my Spotify for all my music playlists. And then for you, for your homework, I guess I could go right to your page, show you directly what you need to do. Looks like you figured out the header to get in there. Is my login not working? Did I mess that up? Maybe I messed that up. Oh no, here it is. Okay. Let's register. I want login. I must have messed that up. I sure did mess that up. I don't know how I did. So let me see. Go into my page. Take this last part right here off. I built the website so I know all the addresses. Sorry, that page don't exist. Oh, I forgot the slash. Okay. It does exist. Oh, you know what? I changed the salts on it. Maybe that's what caused it. Oh, I was just in it on the other computer. I don't know why I can't log in. He's got me locked out. Well, anyways, I'll have to fix that tomorrow. I'll fix it. Looks like you can get in and you're doing the header. But what I will do is I'll show you on my page what you need to do. There's a couple plugins. No, I was just in it a second ago on the other computer. It's just Windows updates, and I did like a registry clean, and it cleaned out all my Google data from this computer. I could get in if I wanted to. I just don't have time to get up and look up the password. Okay, so it's this plugin right here that you need to set up under your name. It's for anti-spam. If I set it up under my name, when somebody's attacking your site, I'll get the notification instead of you. And because you're going to be moderating your forum, if somebody spams your forum, you're going to want to deal with it. So I haven't set that one up under my name. You need to do that one. All right, time for some news. Let me see. What is happening? All right, we got Will the Day Late Gamer. And this is the guy that swears sometimes. And he had a video 3 days ago. He's a little long-winded, so I might speed it up. And I'll put a link to his video in here for you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, citizens of all ages, welcome back to another edition Star Citizen 3.2.2 stuff. So, with Star Citizen 3.3 just around the bend, with PTU fast approaching, and Evocati in somewhat full effect, we can expect a whole plethora of rebalances and redos and reworks and re-this and re-that and in general. But there's one thing in particular that I really wanted to outline. That being the weapon rebalance. Now, as some or most or none of you may know, there have been quite a few times where the weapons were rebalanced, where loadouts were changed. Specifically recently, especially with 3.3, there's a whole new round of loadout changes and rebalances and item 2.0 and all that good shit. Last night, I was talking to one of my Discord members, who for the time being shall remain nameless, and he brought up a really good point. In 2.6, okay, I want you to pay attention to the footage on the screen right now, okay? I am in the Starfarer Gemini with 4 C788 combines. 4, okay? The size of the projectiles being fired are basically bowling ball size. They're like literally the size of your head. I'm firing on an Aegis Avenger, Avenger Stalker. I have hit it a multitude of times before it explodes. Now, each of those volleys had approximately 4 projectiles making impact. And it did what I would consider little to no damage. We've had a lot of issues with the ballistic weapons as of late, especially, but I feel like this.
Is he getting at that the ballistics are supposed to go through the shields and do instant gratification? Because if he is, he's dealing with the armor, and I think you got to deal with the armor before you actually get to the ship and do damage, because that's the point of armor, right? Because you have to get through the armor of the ship before you damage the ship. Maybe he's misunderstanding, or maybe I'm misunderstanding.
This goes to further outline the issues with the weapons. Now, obviously there's the question of balance, well, the statement of balance, it's really not a question. But at the same time, you need to look at the weapons, at the projectiles, what they're attached to, their size, their damage output, and most of all, their target. Now, if I had 4 50 caliber weapons, cheek-mounted weapons, if you will, and I shot at a Cessna, that should tear it the fuck up. If we go back to 2.6, in my opinion, 2.6 had probably some of the best ballistic output. There was many a time where I could fly in on my Gemini or my base Starfarer, and although I could be outmaneuvered, if I could get the jump and land 1 or 2 successful volleys, it would knock out ships in accordance, So if I went up against a Cutlass Black, it wouldn't knock it out in 2 shots. It would, probably take 3 or 4, which I think is a little excessive, but again, balance. Whereas if we just look at the previous example, it took at least 4 to 6 volleys.
I think he's playing with the
projectiles
mouse
to knock out the Stalker. Sorry. And I find that a little bit ridiculous, considering that ship, although it is NPC, it should have been knocked out in 1 to 2 volleys. I'll say 2 for the sake of argument, just to make it more, viable. Now, the thing with ballistics, as you might be seeing, you got to also take into account not the spread, what's the word? The lag for them, because they're not energy weapons, they're not going to go as fast. I think that should be pivotal in the determination of the weapon balance. Problem being, there has been a long history of projectiles either not being registered correctly or not being registered at all. I think it was 3.1, for a large portion of either 3.1 or 3.0, projectiles were basically null and void. They were not a viable option for weapons. In fact, I remember specifically doing one of the new satellite probe missions or whatever they are, where you have to fly somewhere like near Grimhex or something, and you got to fire on those little destructible satellite thingamabobbers. I don't remember what they're called, those like satellite probe things. And I brought my Gemini for one of the very first ones I ever did. And I literally expended all of the ammunition that I had, all of the ballistic rounds on these satellites, and it did jack and shit, and Jack left town. Now, hopefully, with the upcoming rebalance and item/weapon 2.0, or however they're classifying it, hopefully they will dial these in better. Personally, I would like to see these combine weapons be more akin to what they were in 2.6, where, yeah, they fire a bit slow, not too slow, but they pack hella punch. Once again, this is 4 almost bowling ball-sized projectiles. I think it does something like only 300 physical damage and like 600 or 700 distortion damage. But once again, for the size of these weapons, that's like the output of a Nerf weapon. Like Nerf or nothing, like Nerf guns, Not Nerf in the sense of debuffing them. So I'm hoping that they can get that balance. Admittedly, it is hard to balance that type of thing because.
All right, I'm going to say what he's talking about is important, but it's not important right now. Right now, CIG's got so much more to do than weapon balancing. I don't think it's worth discussing because it's going to go through so many changes and so many people are going to get butthurt that I think what he's talking about is pretty relevant. So we're going to move on to the next one. Not that it's a bad video. If you guys do want to watch about it, please watch it on your own time. I put the link in there. He's a new content creator. He does swear, but I think he's doing a pretty good job for getting started, and I'm supportive of him. So give him a subscribe and a like. We're going to go on to the next one. Ooh, 4 hours ago. Nice. STL Youngblood. Put the link in.
Hey guys, Youngblood with you, and what I wanted to do today was actually cover the Reverse the Verse from Friday, where they went into details on the updating the Constellation Phoenix. As far as the video itself is concerned, that was about an hour-long session, like most of the RTVs are. That being said, if you don't have time to watch a video like that, I wanted to kind of hit the hot topics that came out of that, especially if you're interested in the Phoenix. But if you have one and you want the most details and to get a full walkthrough of the ship, it's certainly a worthwhile video to check out. But as far as the short version is concerned, it is currently in its final art stage as far as its status is concerned. It should be out fairly soon for us to actually test, and as soon as we get that, I'm going to be doing a detailed walkthrough for you all. In regards to the way the ship ended up being designed, it basically shares the same cockpit as the Andromeda and the Taurus, where it's kind of got the pointy version of the cockpit. The one that's different is going to be the Aquila, which ends up being the rounded variant. As far as the materials, the colors, the textures, those are all kind of the luxury, the clean looks to the ship. That's applied to the entire ship. There's not just certain areas that differ from the, like Andromeda, for example, that look different interior. That sort of look and feel is going to be continuous through the entirety of the ship. There is a lounge area on board that actually is going to have large windows for the guests, so you can see out to the planets or to space or wherever you currently are. It's also got a bar, a seating area, a conference table, a fish tank, and a gallery.
It's not going to look like this in game, guys. This is being rendered when he did this on a supercomputer i9 like mine, where all the cores and everything were just assigned to rendering this. They probably did like 64 anti-aliasing and probably did some real-time shadows with it and added all kinds of processing. I guarantee you that this is not what you're gonna see, because this is like really sharp and good looking, and I can tell by how slow it's moving that this is not in the game engine. This is in a rendering like test environment.
Galaxy roof that's going to let you see above as well. The conference table that is located there can actually be replaced with a piano at some point. That's not planned to be in the initial release, but later on you can actually put a piano there instead of a conference table if you wish. And kind of a funny little note, the fish tank there actually has an original Phoenix design, the Mark 1, as an item in the fish tank, like a crashed ship. Things that you would see on the more industrial variants, like beams and structural items, are actually going to be hidden in the Phoenix, like through things like design and covering and plates. So you're not going to walk through and be like, oh, there's a structural component to this ship. It's just blended into that luxury, clean feel. On board, you do have 2 guest bedrooms. Each of them has a fish tank of their own. And the master bedroom, it's funny using these terms, has a one-way window that's going to allow you to see your guests, but them not to peep in on your current activity. So those of you with some voyeuristic tendencies, this may be the ship for you. There is direct access to the cargo area. It's going to give you a quick way to get down to the cargo and also a quick way to get to the rover. And the cargo area actually ends up being a little bit wider and longer than what's on the Andromeda. However, it ends up being shorter at the expense to kind of give a little bit more headroom to the upper levels. Overall, the size of the ship ends up being about 7 to 10% larger than the Andromeda. I thought that was a little bit strange to find out, because I kind of figured they'd be working within the same hull, but I guess if you're changing some of the dimensions of things like the cargo hold, it doesn't really hurt anything to make it a different size altogether. And we all know that the Phoenix has a hot tub, but that can be retracted into the floor, which basically means that if you're not using it, you can walk over it, you can host a party or a dance party there, basically act like it's not going to be there. And the hot tub in 3.3 is not going to have water. That's going to come later after the planetary build team kind of updates the way water is going to perform in the engine. Now, as far as the gameplay with this ship is concerned, we got some interesting notes from this. For example, the piano, if you have one, can actually be spawned inside your hangar instead of putting it inside your Phoenix, basically giving you a little bit of flexibility with that item and where you want to put it. There is supposed to be some ability to actually use the piano. Now, I don't think it's been determined if that's just going to be loading up a predetermined MIDI file to where you're going to see that it's actually playing on your ship. Or maybe if you have some sort of like MIDI input device, you're able to actually play the piano. That's a little bit to be determined, but there is some interesting possibilities surrounding that. And it kind of goes back to the jukebox in the hangar, where you can actually put like MP3s in a file that outside the game that lets you play them inside the game. So kind of neat. The Phoenix, I think we all know one of the major selling points was that it was originally...
Now, one of the games I play called Shroud of the Avatar, it's got a music system like that to where you can put in files to play, and they use what's called ABC files. And you have to get a converter to convert the files into these ABC files, and then you load them in there. And if you want to play AC/DC on the lute, you can do it, which is pretty cool.
sold with a larger power plant than the Andromeda came with, which meant that it's technically the most powerful version of this ship. That being said, some things have changed with like the size structure in game, to where initially it was like size 1 through 10 in components, and this was supposed to have a size 7 compared to a size 6 on the Andromeda. But
Yes,
now,
I play Shadow
the way
of the
that it's done
Avatar.
is components are either vehicle, small, medium, large, or capital. So when you start talking about the size differences in ships and the limited size options that are now available in components, they can't necessarily say like the Andromeda gets a medium and the Phoenix is going to get a large, because it changes the entire structure of how things are going to work in the ship. So the way that they're kind of going to do this is they're going to give it the highest performing version right off the bat, which is the competition class of component. The problem there is people can technically take an Andromeda and put component or a competition class power plant in there, and then it matches the Phoenix, which I'm sure is going to upset some Phoenix owners. But it's something they're going to continue to review as they move forward. The Phoenix is not going to get remote turrets until later in the release cycle.
It's not.
Now, I'm not sure exactly what the plan is here, because it does have a point defense system on board. Now, does that mean that the point defense system becomes a remote turret, or is that just saying it's taking one of the 2 turrets that are already existing on the ship and that becomes a remote turret in addition to point defense? I
Makes
didn't
me
think that
angry.
was very clear, so I'm interested to see what we get out of that. They did say, though, that the Phoenix is going to have slightly improved armor over the Andromeda, though it is going to need some future balancing, and once they actually get in game and combat and like damage testing gets into place. So that can kind of help to mitigate a little bit of the concern that's there about not having an actually larger power plant. Another area where there was some kind of gray areas was that it's now said that the smuggling gameplay is really supposed to be part of the Taurus variant, where they say they sacrifice a turret for that like shielded cargo area. Originally, it was sold that at least the impression was given that the Phoenix was supposed to have a shielded cargo hold on board. And now they're saying that's not necessarily the case. So later on, we did see a developer note come out that they're going to go back and research this and see what ends up being best for gameplay. So I would assume that we end up getting some sort of shielding there, or maybe an option to equip something that allows you to do that. But it's very clear right now that they don't necessarily have it all worked out. And then the other thing was that it was mentioned.
To me, it makes sense to put it underneath the hot tub, to where if they do really want in it, they got to get all the water out of the hot tub before they can open it. It's just a thought. Underneath the hot tub would probably be a good spot, and they don't have to really make that much room for it.
Potentially that the Phoenix and some of the other constellations actually should be able to have the ability to do command and control based on the parts that are on the ship. And that was expected gameplay for the entire Constellation series. Now, it was originally an option for select ships. That's the way they were kind of designing and balancing the gameplay. But that's no longer a function that's associated with a particular ship or a particular part of a ship. That's now a mechanic that's considered associated to computers and blades. So technically, any ship can really do it, assuming you have the right parts and room within your computer rack to put in a blade that allows you to do command and control. Those ships that have larger computers and more space are obviously going to give you more flexibility in what you can do with that space. So that's really it for this. I'm going to be continuing to do updates as soon as the ship is in. You better believe I'm going to be doing a tour, because the thing is obviously pretty baller, as you can see in the video in the background. If you guys have questions, please let me know. Otherwise, stay tuned for more. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and take care.
Awesome video by STL Youngblood. I linked his video for you guys. Please give him a like and a subscribe. Alright, up next, check out Tactical Advance, see if he's got anything. 2 months? Sometimes that's not right. You gotta go in here, and it's, must be taking a break. Montoya, you got anything to say? Roadmap updates. 6 minutes. We can give Montoya 6 minutes.
There are
I'm gonna link it.
2 important events coming up in October. One of them is CitizenCon, the other one is Halloween. You single guys know that there are 2 important dates in the year which you have to go out and hit the town.
Halloween's my favorite time of year, by the way. It's like, I don't know, my whole body gets possessed. I love Halloween.
One of them is Halloween, the other is New Year's. If you need it explained, then you obviously have not done it. Pay attention here, people. I'm old, I have 2 kids, I can't do it, but I need you to go out there and meet all the slutty nurses and the slutty bumblebees and let them know Montoya sends his regards.
Oh my God, he had to go there?
Ladies and
I don't
gentlemen,
think he
I'm
had to.
Montoya. Welcome back. Yeah, Halloween is very different once you have kids. It's not the same. It's not. It's still very enjoyable. It's just different from what it used to be when you used to party about it. A lot happening in Star Citizen. We had the roadmap which came out September 28th. I want to go over this. And then I want to talk about a bit about the object container streaming. But first, Test Squadron does have a booth at CitizenCon. You are invited to come by and say hello, shake some hands. We have plenty of giveaways. If you are a Test main member, we have swag for you. Affiliates? Maybe. Also, if you're not a member at all, we still have a bunch of giveaways. I think we have upwards of 10 Aurora game packages, which could be yours. Drop by the booth and come say hello. Let's jump right into the roadmap. As always, thank you to Odysseus 1992 for making this. I know it takes a lot of time and effort. We do appreciate it. 3.3.0 is out to Evocati. If you are an Evocati and you are not in there, you have probably been asleep because it is out. Check marks all the way down, almost all the way down. That is because some of the stuff has been moved to 3.3.5. But let's take a look at what is not finished yet that is of relevance. Odyssey flight suit rework, not so important. Shipboard ping and scanning, 79%, but still going. Otherwise, check marks almost on everything that is important. Now, the most important thing in 3.3.5 is Hurston Planet at 84%, coming along strong. Now, they've got about 10 days to get this done because they said they will be showcasing this at, well, we hope they will be showcasing at CitizenCon. So they have 10 days to get that done. I think they can do it. And the other thing is object container streaming, 33%, no change because they've been focusing on everything else to get this moving as fast as possible. Otherwise, 3.4, not much happening. The Anvil Hawk over 50%, looking good. The 300i rework, 32%. A total at 40%, up 32% from the previous week, which is great. A lot of people own the 300. Are looking forward to seeing what's happening with that. And the MISC Freelancer variants, the Max Dur and Miss, all coming along nicely. That is looking good. 3.5, not too important. That is too far out. But I do want to take a look.
One thing that I was thinking about the 600i, like the one we have right now, that's the Explorer version, if I'm not mistaken. So that one's not really the luxury version. So this version is probably going to have all the super nice wood in it and all that. Maybe. I mean, it's just one possibility they could have went. And that's why the 600i Explorer is kind of industrial / luxury. Maybe the touring is going to be full luxury. Maybe. I hope.
Look at is object container streaming and the example of it that they put out recently. Now, this is obviously a very dumbed down version of what it is, but if you haven't been following, the reason why this is so important, the reason why we consider this the Jesus patch, again, not like every single previous Jesus patch, but the big issue that Star Citizen has been having is obviously performance. And the big problem is that if you are at Port Olisar and I'm on Daymar or wherever and I spawn myself a Starfarer, that Starfarer, the details of that happening are sent out to everyone. And if I crash that Starfarer and things go flying all over the place, every single piece of information is sent to your client too. Now, that is not important to you if you are at Port Olisar. All that's important to you at Port Olisar is exactly what you can see around you at that moment in time, and maybe the sections next to you you'll be traveling to. That is what object container streaming.
And that was one of the walls that CryEngine had in it that was not overcomable because you had to separate the environments. So obviously in Lumberyard, they can like cut the environment in the cubes and assign an ID to it. Once you get an ID for that cube, then you can develop a program to do whatever you want with the cubes. I'm thinking because I'm a programmer that CryEngine had no way to bring the IDs of the cubes into the engine. But Lumberyard, because it was more advanced, I kind of think Lumberyard might be CryEngine working in a Unity type environment. That's what I think. I'm not 100% sure.
Is. And the example I show here is pretty much it. So let's say this red room signifies the room you spawned in, and you step out the room. Once you're outside the room, it's not important what's in that room anymore. That room can essentially be unloaded, and so red shows the squares being unloaded. What's important to you is where you're right now and the exact squares and areas around you. Also, if you walk through a door, that area has to be ready to be loaded in, so that's the green areas. And obviously what's beyond that has to be prepped also. So if you have to travel towards the green square, that would become white, and the white squares would get unloaded, freeing up a lot of memory. That's why the people who have 32 gigs of RAM are getting much better frame rates than the rest of us. I've got a 16 gig machine here. It does okay. It's okay. So hopefully this, when the object container streaming is complete, how are we looking here? Where was it? Object container streaming, 33%. So the hope is once this is done.
I have 64 gig of RAM, and the game has never recognized all of it. It only recognizes 32 as of right now on my machines. So even if you had more RAM than 32, it's not going to help you because it doesn't recognize it, which is kind of bullshit.
And it is a huge undertaking. Once this is complete, it should improve our performance. They don't know by how much, and they don't want to give us any guesses until they have it actually tested out, because it could be a 5% improvement or it could be a 30% improvement. We don't know, but this is just one of the many things they're doing to help improve the performance in Star Citizen. And honestly, for a lot of people, the biggest issue they have are the frame rates. They go, it's fine, it's at 30 FPS, it drops down to 15, it's terrible, it goes up to 60, it's fine. These fluctuations all depend on what's happening around you. So obviously, very excited to see this done. It's going to be a while, but here they are explaining to us. And fingers crossed that it's done before Q4, hopefully. With that, let's wrap up. I've got a lot of work to do in my office back here. I can't tell if you can see, but I've shifted things up. Back here, these boxes are going to move against the wall. I want that to be a green screen wall. Everything else is a disgusting mess right now, so it's being cleaned up. Ninja Girl has threatened divorce multiple times over the mess in my office. But you know what? This is my space. I have a receipt from 2003 from something over there. I have a box from something I may need over there. Obviously, all the cables you've seen. Who knows when I might need it, but anyway. A bit of cleanup to do here, but stay tuned. As always, subscribe, thumbs up. Let me know if you enjoy this content or not, and definitely drop by CitizenCon booth for Test Squadron. Let me shake your hand if you're coming. I will see you there on the next video, which will probably come sooner. Catch you later.
All right, thank you, Montoya. All right, next up we got Mr. Minion Soldier. Button worked last time. Oh, here it is. Gotta press it harder. Alright, Minion Soldier is coming in with ship updates. Oh, I forgot to get the link. If you're into piracy, subscribe. He does pirate videos.
Can you learn to see in the dark, Captain?
All right. So, this week's ship updates, actually, nothing really. There's just a couple of little pieces of information about something coming to CitizenCon that you guys can look forward to, theoretically. First off, on Instagram, we got a picture of this. This is, of course, the hood cowling from the Drake Dragonfly with, a special little added blurb also saying tickets closed tonight, CitizenCon. So I guess there's going to be something Drake at CitizenCon. Then we also got this image of a rather large crate with the Drake logo on it. So I'm kind of guessing, and other people have guessed the same thing, that there's probably going to be a life-size Dragonfly at CitizenCon for all of you to enjoy. And that was just about it for ship updates. Now,
Life-size Dragonfly.
also on ATV, they were dealing with the subject. They were talking about illumination improvements because, people can collide with asteroids, especially in the dark. They can't clearly see them, and so they were looking at changing environmental lighting effects, that sort of thing. We've been down this road before. I think I've discussed this possibly once or twice on this channel, the problem of being able to see, land your ship, do things in the dark. Kind of difficult at times. And at one point, Aaron Roberts did touch on this subject, I believe during an RTV, where he said that they were possibly looking at some environmental lighting effects that could partially solve this issue. Things along that nature, but we hadn't heard anything up until now when they showed us once again in ATV. Some of the things that they were tweaking and experimenting with, some possible ways to solve this problem. Well, being someone who likes to contribute, someone who likes to help, I felt that I would throw in an idea. And an idea that, we've discussed once or twice in the past, but I never really put that much research into it, never really put that much effort into it. So I decided that I would throw a little extra time into it. So I spent all of 10 minutes researching this idea, and I would like to present it to you now. So how do you enable players to see in low light conditions? Well, first off, has this ever been done before? Is this even possible? Turns out, surprisingly enough, it has been done before, and has in fact been done for quite some time. This exists in other games, of course, and it's something that artists can use to enhance a player's capabilities in dark environments while still maintaining the atmosphere, the mood that they want to create. They can tie that function to a piece of equipment that the player can carry. So it's not simply always a universal solution. They can make it something that you can toggle on and off, use or not use, equip or not equip. They can make it entirely optional. They can still preserve the environments and the atmosphere that they want to create while still enabling the player to operate effectively within that environment. So, with 2 minutes of my research time used up, I decided to see if there were any real-world examples of this miracle technology in use. I mean, was this just some sci-fi thing from video games? Turns out, in fact, no, it isn't. This is something that is currently used today. Remember, Star Citizen takes place 1,000 years from now. And this is something that 1,000 years in the past, in that universe, human beings would have been using. So it's not exactly a new technology and not exactly something that you would think.
Space Squirrel agrees that Ghost Recon Wildlands did a good job. I agree.
Is beyond them at that point 1,000 years from now. It probably would be even slightly improved over time. So with about 4 minutes of my research time used up, I decided to answer the big question, which is how long would it take to develop and implement this feature within Star Citizen? Clearly, they're already experimenting with all kinds of different ways to...
All right, my thoughts on the situation here since we're talking about it. Night vision in space. Okay. If I was advanced, I would be able to see the other ship at night without a doubt. Would it be visual? Probably not. It'd probably be by radar or something like that. I never seen Captain Kirk ask for the night vision. But Star Citizen is not just a space game, and that's what people aren't getting, and maybe Minion Soldier himself don't understand it, because Twister has a habit of opening up boxes, and then after that box is open, I open up another box, and I keep opening up boxes until I see the big picture. It's my nature. So the big picture is that we're doing ground wars, and night vision needs to be in the game regardless. So they got tanks. The tanks are gonna want night vision. If they come up with like helicopters, and of course, yeah, they're gonna have atmospheric vehicles in the air that need night vision too. So that's what the real point of it is. I know a lot of people don't get to the big picture and they only see what's in front of them. But yeah, it's not just a space game, and yes, we do need night vision.
To possibly change the lighting, they're looking at all kinds of different options to kind of highlight the edges of asteroids and objects to better make them visible to the players. I mean, obviously they're spending a considerable amount of time and effort researching the possible solutions to this problem. Well, within the next 5 minutes of
Useless
my
in
research,
space.
I found that there is one. You see, Star Citizen is built using the Lumberyard game engine. The Lumberyard game engine, of course, from Amazon. And oddly enough, the documentation is available online. And with only a few minutes of searching through it, I actually found something. It's a feature that's already built into the game engine. It is literally something that you can switch on and off, that you can tie to a piece of equipment. So, no development time really needed. So, 10 minutes in, we have a problem. We have a legitimate way to solve that problem. That requires no development time because it's already built into the tool that you are currently using. Not only that, you can tie this solution to various pieces of equipment that the players can purchase in-game so they can make.
What he doesn't understand is Chris Roberts is extremely picky. And when people land their ships, he wants the feeling of awe of people being immersed in the environment that they're landing the ship in. If it's all green and black, or black and white, or some type of crazy night vision, it's not going to look appealing, and I don't think it would get by Chris, because Chris, I played a lot of Chris's games. When he does a game, he wants to install a feeling into a person when they're doing. He wants to establish control of you and control what you're feeling as much as he possibly can. And he can't do that with night vision landing a ship, I don't think. Maybe. This is all my opinion.
That choice, they can go with the natural environment, or they can go with devices that help enable them within that environment, making their life a little bit easier. And because this is something that exists already in the real world, it's something that's believable, something that players can relate to, something that they will really, see as being familiar and not out of place or far-fetched within the sci-fi universe that you're trying to create. So the answer to your problem is in fact already there. It adds depth of gameplay, it gives players choices, the choice to equip or not equip, the choice to purchase this piece of equipment or not to. Then it can add to the atmosphere that you're trying to create. It's obviously something that players accept in other video games and they enjoy. So why not? When the time that's needed to develop game features is already at a premium, why not simply pick up the solution that's staring you right in the face and requires no time to implement, something that you can implement almost immediately? And you can even give players the choice to opt in or opt out of that solution if they so choose. In all honesty, I think that a system like this, it
Hey, Akron, thanks for stopping by.
adds depth of gameplay and it adds atmosphere. So and the fact that it's already there, to me, it's just a win-win. So I don't understand so much why so much development time is being spent on trying to find ways to tweak the atmospherics to possibly allow for a little bit of extra vision when you have the solution to your problem staring you right in the face. Anyways, that's the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you Monday.
I did enjoy it. All right. What we got going on here? So, Citizen Gamers, their weekly Blastcast. We've been covering this since the beginning of the show here. And these guys have just been fantastic, but they're really technical. So don't be afraid to ask me if you don't understand it. And if I don't understand it, I'll give you my honest opinion that I don't understand it, because sometimes they go above my head. These are flight sim fanatic people. Oh, gotta get the link. Gotta get these macros that Oxford has for like their most recent. I don't know how to do it.
Greetings and welcome to the Blastcast. I am Jarvis, and with me as always is the man who crosses the streams, Lightning Dragon. We are all excited for CitizenCon next week. We're going to get to see all sorts of new fun stuff, and this is really our Christmas, and just like Christmas, I'm going to have trouble sleeping the night before, most likely. So let's jump into Star Citizen news. This week on Around the Verse, CIG showed us how they intend to resolve the issue of asteroids being too dark to see. They placed ambient lights in various places to give a subtle amount of light to just give enough lighting to see the edges of the asteroids so we have a chance of not just flying smack into them.
You know what else would be nice? I don't know, having a night vision mode either built into the HUD or glass of your ship or maybe into your helmet. So if it's really bad, you just turn on a night vision mode. Because if Arma can do it, I'm pretty sure CIG can do it too.
Yeah, I thought it was an odd solution, and the other part of it was this maybe brighten up your darks a little bit, when you go into the settings, like you can adjust the gamma and things like that. I tend to raise those up in games because I find that most games, with the exceptions of ones that they're supposed to be dark because they're a horror game or something, they're always just too dark and makes things too unwieldy. So one of the first things I kind of move over.
Yeah, and YouTube makes it worse. So anything you see on YouTube is darker than it actually is supposed to be.
They also showed off variations of truck stops, which are, of course, procedurally generated. And truck stops go into the PTU when 3.3 finally gets into our hands.
Which will be never. It's all been a scam. Of course, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know. But that you just fed the trolls.
I know, I did. That's why I laughed. Immediately regret saying it. That's okay. I'm sure you'll completely edit it all out in post.
Yeah, this won't be in here at all.
He doesn't. Another thing that I'd like to point out: real asteroid belts. The asteroids aren't like within a stone's throw of each other. They're hundreds to thousands of kilometers apart from each other. What almost every single video game does, as far as like the density, is closer to like rings of a planet, like Saturn or something. And that's why they look like rings, is because it's very, very close proximity. You don't see the asteroid belt because they're dark rocks in the black void background of space, and they're not dense enough to reflect light. You don't see them. Video games don't ever get asteroid belts correct.
No, they really don't.
But it wouldn't really be fun to travel, hundreds of kilometers between each rock to try and mine for something.
Well, that, of course, depends on the size of the rock. Like, if it's a wandering asteroid or one or two that are out there, then they're fairly large size. an asteroid field doesn't need to be thousands and thousands of rocks. It could just be 2 or 3 really big ones sitting out there that take several days to mine down.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it differently and not have like little chunks that you just gobble up and move on, kind of like how Eve does it.
Yeah, just think of the FPS you saved too. So let's jump into Reverse the Verse. Reverse the Verse was a tour of the constellation Phoenix. They took us to the ins and outs and the ups and downs, especially down to the cargo area, which I thought actually looked really good. I like the new cargo area, how it went from this very kind of luxury wood setting to like hard metal industrial down below. It was a nice contrast. And there's a lot of people pointing out issues where the layout could be better. My only hope is it's just like the 600i that some changes or revisions are made down the road. Right now, just getting the ships functional up and out there, people can get their hands on them and then they can discuss it in the forums. And hopefully, just like most other ships which have had multiple reworks, this is just your tier 0 implementation.
Yeah, interior designers, CIG is not.
No. But hopefully they learn through experience. And on to calling all devs, which is pretty quick because it's been a drought. As you know, as we get closer and closer, we get less and less. But this week on Calling All Devs, pretty much every question I found was pretty interesting. Now, they wanted to know if we would get a coordinate system in the future so we could precisely describe our location in the universe. They stated it is something that they want to do, but they haven't exactly figured out how they want to do it yet. The trick is that all these areas are so massive and so large, the number that you would have to type would be ridiculous. It could have numbers and letters. It would just be a mess. What he was talking about sounds like he wants to break it up into sections, like a certain area or certain large boxes, and within those boxes you would have smaller coordinates. They haven't worked out all the details. They're not exactly sure how they're going to do it yet. They want to do it. We'll get more details as that develops.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's quarter scale or half scale or whatever, I mean, to cube our solar system, I mean, how big are the cubes that you're talking about? Are they 1 AU? Are they 100 kilometers? Are they 10,000 kilometers? Are they 100 million kilometers? There's a lot of area in our solar system, and that's how high do you want to go? Do you want to only go as high as a certain rotation of the planets? Do you want to go as high as it is wide? I mean, that's huge, just monstrous amounts of space.
It's going to take a little bit of work to do something that will relay coordinates in a meaningful and simple way. Personally speaking, I played some games where you just press a button and it'll transmit, like, for example, I'm going to send an email to Lightning saying, meet me here. And I would press a button on the email attachment and it will just drop the coordinates as an attachment in that email, which you could then utilize in his ship. You know, it's not something you should directly need to type. It's just information that needs to be relayed, like the beacons. So as long as they let us go ahead and mark these locations and save them and transmit them, I don't see this as really being a gigantic problem.
Yeah, the server is most likely going to have that information anyway,
right?
But translating it into something that you can type out that's not, 16,000 characters or something is the different story here. And I think that's what they're trying to do. They either need to condense it into something that's typable or just have it part of the beacon system.
Yeah, and I still think doing it just as a button press, here's a file, it attaches to it, is much easier than manual typing, cutting or pasting, or any other way. It's just instant, it's quick, you can save it as a bookmark, it's fast. And their question was, if we're salvaging and we come across a fuel tank that is full of fuel, can we use that fuel inside the tank? And their answer is right now, not initially. Later on, it's possible that you may be able to use drones and whatnot. Now, my thoughts on it is you bring a garden hose and you stick it directly in the tank. Now, be aware that quantum fuel does have toxic effects. You have to be careful when you're doing that.
Also, the fact that if you take off your helmet in space, you'll suffocate and then freeze to death.
Yeah, there's that. That's the other. Yeah, that's definitely the other problem. On to a ship question. They wanted to know, what are the current high-level goals for the Banu Merchantman? Have they changed at all? And they stated it's still going to be a trading ship with shops and things inside of it that players can utilize. It also has quarters for the guests or for the customers for larger negotiation deals that may take a while. So, like, for example, if you had 2 organizations meeting over a multi-day kind of negotiation for territory in a war or whatnot, they could meet on this ship and have quarters they can log out of and log back into. Which would be, well, that would be like the mother of all negotiations if it wasn't resolved in one game sitting between 2 factions. That would be a hell of a war. But nonetheless, these options are there to kind of replicate what the ship is made to do inside of the Star Citizen universe normally.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. It's like, the only thing I'd really say is, I mean, the closest comparison you'd have would be Eve, and most of that stuff you don't do face to face. So
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like
Yeah, that's why I won't get too much more. They said the Banu is big, well armored, and well armed, but also incredibly slow, which makes sense.
you can have fast things that are large.
They just
When I
can't
look at
maneuver
some
very
of
well.
Well, the aircraft carriers, the
Yeah.
very first nuclear aircraft carriers, outran its escort ships because it was so fast. There was
Oh, yeah.
nothing else that could catch it.
Those things can crank. The water that gets shot up behind those when they open up is ridiculous.
The SR-71 Blackbird. I mean, it's an old design, but I think it still holds the top speed record of an airplane.
That we know. Of.
And it's not a small plane.
Well, actually, yeah. I mean, I know. I've actually been next to one. It's smaller than you would think.
Yeah,
I was
it's-
surprisingly small. It was. Every time I saw the picture, I thought this thing was a monster. I'm like, it's really not. They had the engines capped off so you couldn't see inside, but obviously there's a reason for that.
Yeah, high tech, secret.
And lastly, they want to know, when are we going to be able to trade subdued NPCs or players as a commodity? Obviously, part of this question relates to bounty hunting. They want to know when that mechanic's going to go in, when you'll be able to capture somebody, take them to a police station, turn them in. That's still in development. As far as just capturing random NPCs for a slave trade, they said that's probably not going to be a career choice for players.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but can you even hand money to players in the current builds of the game?
No, not yet. That's coming down. That's coming down the line.
So
At least I hope.
This seems like a why don't I have a cart when I don't have the horse yet?
Yeah, a bit. Can we first trade money first before we worry about trading NPCs? Because maybe I want to give you money for that NPC, and I can't even trade you money, then sure as heck can't buy that NPC.
Or yourself, like you're trying to be ransomed by a pirate.
Yeah, there you go. Now later this week, I'm going to be finishing my initial impression videos on Rebel Galaxy before I present my final review. I've actually now finished the game and should be able to give you an accurate assessment of, well, whether or not it's worth it. Also, Lightning Dragon and I continue to taste test bullets on Saturday to determine if they taste great or less filling with Arma Apex.
Lead flavor.
Now, next week, there's not going to be a normal Blastcast, because normally the Blastcast comes out on Tuesday and CitizenCon comes out on Wednesday. Also, typically, the Around the Verse prior to the CitizenCon is always about setting up booths, and it's kind of just fluff and filler because they're just holding back everything else just for the show. It's doubtful there's going to be any news of meaning or value, just behind the scenes booth setups and whatever. Now, the same thing goes with the post-CitizenCon Around the Verse. Most likely there won't be a show there either, because it's going to be us taking the booths down, the people at the conventions kind of videos, and that's really all it's going to be. I very much doubt they're going to have any updates after basically firing everything they have at us. Now, I have managed to, for the first time in 5 years, I took time off my job. Now, to do that, I'm running a 7-day stretch, starting basically from the day this video's out all the way through basically Tuesday to...
Actually, Ruckus, it scared me because I thought something was behind my chair. When I looked, I thought my green screen wasn't working. That's really some guy in another video that they got behind me. It scared the crap out of me.
To Monday again. Now I'm doing that because I want to be fully available to cover this, to make videos and topics discussing the parts that are in there with enough depth and not just rush job the whole thing. So I'm going to have 5 days to break this stuff down. That's going to be basically a week-long Blastcast. I'll probably label it like A, B, C, or whatever. Now I plan on covering each panel and I plan on releasing 1 to 2 videos a day, possibly 3, it depends on the length. Now, topics that are less interesting or maybe more technical and the kind of thing that maybe a lot of people wouldn't be that interested in, or at least I'm not that interested in, might be consolidated into a single video. Lightning Dragon and I are definitely going to be getting into the flight panel. That is going to be a gigantic focus for us, and I look forward to seeing what happens with all that. Also, because there's going to be basically a pile of videos coming out during the course of the week, and it's not my normal practice to just bury you guys alive, I'm going to be temporarily suspending videos from other games during the course of the week of CitizenCon. After that, we'll go back into our quote-unquote normal routine, if there is such a thing. All right, everyone, well, that's about it for this week's Blastcast. Kind of a short one, but it's CitizenCon drought. There's not much we can say. As always, leave your comments and suggestions down below. We will read them, and I'll read them. Lightning will not.
I might. I don't know.
He might.
It depends.
It depends. It depends on his mood, and
Or if I remember.
or if he remembers. That's true. All right, guys. We'll catch you next time. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was our weekly Blastcast. You like them guys. Okay, what's next here on the list? I think we're gonna go into the Super Mac Brother. 2 days ago. I think Oxford would have covered that. So we'll go to Mr. Board Gamer. Board himself. 13 hours ago, state of the game by 3.4 and the end of 2018, which is the 2 months, 8 weeks. No, is it? Yeah, it is 8 weeks. No, we got to go through. It's 12 weeks.
Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Today I wanted to talk about the state of Star Citizen's persistent universe by the end of 2018, what we can expect, what I'm looking forward to, and will it sort of be a game worth sitting down and playing for players that are more mainstream and that are not already fans. I get asked a lot of questions about, is Star Citizen worth buying at the moment? When is it going to be released? When will the persistence get better? Or when will there be purchasable ships? I'll try to answer some of those questions now and just talk about what we can expect 3.4 and what they're trying to do by the end of this year. Star Citizen is in alpha development, and it is incredibly unique in the way that it handles the development that it does with quarterly releases, coming out, updating major systems in the game. From a marketing point of view, these alpha patches are basically major polished milestones, but in actuality, its features and gameplay loops are for testing, and it is missing a huge portion of the game. Not even all the core systems are there yet, and the way that they do show the development in this open style has been a double-edged sword for the project's development. And the core mechanics and gameplay that's there is in flux at the moment. So even the flight model, which is core to the game, is being updated. There's no real progression on server meshing tech as it's waiting on dependencies to be developed and implemented. For people that love the project and testing the bleeding edge, seeing cool stuff and helping the development, this is actually pretty awesome the way they do stuff. But for those that want a sit down and play for hundreds of hours game in a more fleshed out developed state, it's not so appropriate. Looking at the roadmap and the current progress, by the end of the year, with 3.4 coming out at the end of December, Star Citizen may be getting a bit more mainstream traction by potentially nailing down some of those more important parts to a more playable state. The flight model is a core part of Star Citizen and probably one of the most, if not most important parts of the game. It is about spaceships and pew-pewing after all, and there have been ups and downs with the flight model over the development of the game. Other than a couple of notable patches, the flight model has been pretty poorly implemented in the past, or has had issues or with other features that cause bugs, and it's not been balanced properly, and the combat sucks occasionally, that sort of stuff. So we've had some good times. There have been some great patches that have actually made Arena Commander and flight and combat in the game quite fun, but there have been patches where that's not the case, and currently that is true. With 3.2, the flight model is not great. They've now formed a team that's dedicated job is to design and implement the flight model. This should mean less problems with bugs and issues like physics breaking and stuff like that. They have talked about the intention of making the flight a bit more simple. In ships, they want to have turning circles. They want ships to feel responsive, but they want thought in how you maneuver. They want certain ships to have sort of like unique characteristics. They don't want all ships to be able to straight left, right, and around a target at high speed. That will be more of a thing that are for the Kar-2-Als, the Xi'an Scouts, purpose-built ships for strafe fighting. Gravity, atmospheric flight, this will all be taken into account with the flight model, but the idea is to get more nuances and more tactics available for combat to make that part of the game, that core part of combat and maneuvering, enjoyable, fun, and meaningful. So what this should mean for the game is that once they've nailed down a flight model, which may obviously require balancing, it will mean that skills should be pretty transferable. So learning how to fly ships and getting good as a pilot will mean a lot more, as they won't be constantly throwing out or reworking the flight model, or at least they shouldn't. There's always a chance that the core of the flight model will need more work, a lot more work, or is trash or whatever. But with so much work going into that now, I would genuinely be terribly disappointed if it wasn't stable and pretty fun for 3.4. But obviously it will require dialing in a bit, but I am hoping that, as I said, their skills are going to be transferable. There's going to be a good foundation of a flight model there at the very least. Performance and dialing in object container streaming is obviously very important. Client-side object container streaming is coming in 3.3.5 mid-quarter 4. With 3.4, however, this should see even more improvements. So object container streaming is core tech, giving much better frame rates and efficiency. You'll need less RAM, both graphics card and system-wise. We are missing the server-side object container streaming in 3.3.5. That could make it into 3.4. There are certainly going to be iterations and better implementation of it in 3.4. But whatever, we'll have better frame rates across the board. If they can get server-side object container streaming in as well by 3.4, that should increase the cap of players on each server as well. That is required for greater player caps. Each patch will have additional missions and more variation to those missions that we already have. So 3.4 has ArcCorp and Hurston from the previous patch, as well as the associated moons with those two large bodies. It's a huge gameplay area, but also this will have new missions and new mission givers, and we should see improvements to the multiplayer aspects for multi-crew, potentially mission sharing as well. So they've talked about mission sharing and reward sharing for missions when you're working together in groups. I know they've been working on it. Don't know if it's 100% planned for 3.4 as it's not on the roadmap, but I'm expecting it there. General interaction with your crew and other players is so important for a multiplayer game. And a lot of those party systems, group systems, the improvements they're putting in between now and 3.4, face over IP, voice over IP, those systems should be a lot more ironed out by the end of the year. The ability to communicate easily in-game is awesome, and getting that dialed in properly is going to be really great. Building that sort of like player interaction, giving reasons for players to talk to each other, having that emergent gameplay there that can sort of like evolve out of that interaction. That's just so integral to the game. The general tweaks to procedural tech as well. So cities, biomes, space stations, missions, encounters, planets, moons, outposts, and the larger gameplay area, just space in general, all benefit from advances to procedural
Lions,
tech,
tigers, and
something which
outposts.
improves significantly with each of the quarterly updates. There is going to be much more of an expanded gameplay area, with obviously Hurston and its moons, as I previously said, but with 3.4, you're also getting Lorville's business district and those genuine like procedural cities, those giant cities, lots more biomes, stuff like that too. Female characters. So they've been long needed in the verse for ages, and 3.4 brings greater customization to characters and the ability to create female avatars, so players can actually be female characters, and there's going to be lots more NPCs running around that are female as well.
You know we're desperate when we want female characters for a feature. Shit, that should have been done a long time ago.
Well, because they have all the animations in and that sort of stuff too. So by 3.3.5, we should have rentable ships in the persistent universe as well, or at least that's been heavily hinted at. With 3.4, I'm hoping this gets more attention and we could see ship purchasing too. Now, we've been wanting ship purchasing for ages, but to be honest, as long as there are ways to obtain ships in-game through rental or whatever in the persistent universe, I'm going to have much more of a reason to play as I actually have progression. The more things there are to buy, rent, advance to, and we'll see more items and things to buy in 3.4 as well by the end of the year. Another thing, I suppose, as well, is that those items that you purchase and ships in general will function better. So the item system 2.0 functionality that we've been adding for a while now is starting to take shape. We're seeing power allocation actually be meaningful. MFDs, so the multifunction displays, and sort of like consoles and terminals, they're getting more functionality for multi-crew. Turrets are seeing a lot of work to get them into a good place. Again, that multi-crew gameplay is essential, having turrets that are actually effective, having reasons for crew members to actually come with you in a ship together rather than all fly their own ships. And then having them allocate power, tweaking shields, man the gun turrets, and then share those mission rewards is all super important. There will be constant changes to balance, obviously, especially with that new flight model, FPS AI behaviors. So obviously 3.3 is getting FPS AI, which is so important. That is sort of like one of the obviously core things there. PvE encounters effectively, but now on the ground and with actual characters defending ships and stuff like that. So a lot of work has been focused on AI for both first-person shooter elements and that flight combat. And this is essential for missions and gameplay loops, exploration and things to do in the game. 3.4 is adding stealth gameplay to that AI as well. So they will react to stealth. You can hide from them. You can sneak around, things like that. They're adding more and more tactics and reactions to the AI for combat and how they move around the verse.
If the spaceships have night vision, then stealth is going to be pretty much useless except for long range, because even if your ship's completely totally black and not giving off any signal, it's going to be like a cold spot for the night sensors. It'll just be like black.
And this is going to sort of like further refine what the AI can do. We're not going to have too much in the way of sort of like economy-based AI yet, or the overarching God AI, sort of like generating too much in the way of dynamic missions and the dynamic economy, but it's all sort of like getting there at a foundation level now. Eventually we will have AI that react to missions and go out and go mining and then actually bring resources back to a planet. In the meantime, we'll sort of have that faked. So they will spawn AI or NPCs in that will come and land and look like they're in landing zones and doing things. They might not actually be doing stuff, or they might be entirely simulated, but in the future, they are actually going to be part of that dynamic economy and reasons for them being there, rather than just adding flavor and life to the area. But I'm very much looking forward to just looking for derelicts and outposts and things like that are infested with pirates and might have loot there. That FPS sort of like anxiety that you might have to defend yourself at any point because there are now NPCs on the ground is sort of like balanced with the risk and reward, and it's just adding more and more gameplay to the actual game. They are also adding a projectile manager to implement physics systems. That's going to improve projectile functionality in the game. That should go quite nicely with weaponry balances that they're doing and the new flight model. There are a huge amount of other improvements as well with like quantum plotting. So we're about to bring up the mobiGlas and actually plot routes. We'll need to be conscious about refueling at rest stops around the verse as well. There's going to be scramble races. So that's the Destruction Derby races. When we're getting them in 3.3, but they're going to evolve a bit by the end of the year. And there's a load of ships and vehicles that they're also getting in. Actually, I think by the end of the year, there's only around 20 vehicles plus their variants on the ship matrix anyway, left to be made flyable or drivable. And some of these are already, for the most part, ready, but are too large for the persistent universe, or they're coming out with Squadron 42 episode 1. So things like the Idris and the Javelin are pretty close to completion, if not ready, but they're not totally suitable for multiplayer yet, and there's object containers and that sort of stuff in. But that is becoming much more of a possibility now. That tech is getting there. By the end of the year, we could start seeing capital ships. I mean, it's going to be amazing when they are there. But they require object container streaming, both client and server side. So what's going to be missing? Well, we're still going to have server resets. So every minor and major patch.
Oh, that would look pretty crisp.
Alpha UEC purchases and Alpha UEC resets.
I kind of want to look at that again.
People. Every minor.
Oh, gotta stop it in the right spot. That's really crisp. That's like. That's a super sampled 4K image. So it's really like 8K image and it's downsampled to 4K on a 4K monitor, and then they videotaped it. And then after that, they knocked it down to 1080 or whatever for us to see. That's like super crisp. I don't know if you guys can see that through my stream, but that is so crisp.
Are there? But they require object container streaming, both client and server side. So what's going to be missing? Well, we're still going to have server resets. So every minor and major patch, we're probably going to get our Alpha UEC purchases and Alpha UEC reset, which might annoy people. There are still going to be bugs and crashes and issues for sure. There isn't a huge amount of gameplay loops yet. So we're still waiting on medical gameplay, salvage, exploration, science, repair, loads and loads of stuff. So it's possible that we might get something like salvage brought forward before the end of the year. So we might get it by the end of the year, although it's not currently on the roadmap, and that is holding out very much on hope. So what's essential they get done by the end of the year really is a solid flight model, object container streaming, weapon reworks, high frame rates. That means that Arena Commander and general ship combat can be a lot more competitive and fun to do, and people will actually start to learn to fly because there's a reason to, because those skills will be transferable. Basically, 3.4 refines bug fixes and improves what we're getting in 3.3 and 3.3.5, but also adds a lot more reasons to play and should give us a lot more reasons to want to play. For me, it's a lot about accessibility to fun. I want to be able to jump in to the verse, whether it's me or a group. And if I just want to play solo, great. If I want to play with a group, great. And I want to be able to quickly and easily access missions. So I want to be able to go, well, I don't really want to go out and plan something with a load of people. I just want to jump into this mission. Bam. I should have access to that. And that's the sort of stuff that we're going to be getting as the game gets more and more developed. But also, I want to be able to go out and go, yeah, I want to go mining for the day. And that accessibility to being able to mine when I have a prospector needs to be there. But also I want access to a prospector if I haven't bought one with real money. And that's where the renting of ships and the purchasing of ships with Alpha UEC comes in as well. So that is all super important. So for me, Star Citizen is starting to deliver, and it's made massive progress in the last year, much more than it has previously. I mean, it's been slow development, and it's going to be another couple of years at least before we have something even resembling a beta for the game. But what we should have by the end of the year is something that is a lot more mainstream than it previously has been. And it's something that I think is pretty reasonable and manageable to do on their roadmap at the moment. I am very much looking forward to CitizenCon as well now, and the holiday live stream later in the year. That will be awesome. But feel free to share your opinions in the comments below. Tell me if you think I've wildly overestimated the abilities of CIG and Star Citizen, or whether you think I've been pretty reasonable. I mean, I've looked through the roadmap, I've seen what they've been talking about in the monthly reports, and on the recent Chronicle devs and around.
Oh, it killed them! It vaporized them.
Working on and everything that we've talked about.
That was pretty cool.
Very doable, but I think some people will definitely be.
I don't like that helmet.
That there's a lack of additional gameplay loops when it comes to, like, as I said, repair and salvage and stuff like that.
I don't really like any of these Android face helmets.
Say the Raven just by being a subscriber on my channel and commenting on any of my videos. This is one of 2 giveaways that will be happening on my channel this month, provided by
That's my buddy.
a mobile app for iOS and Android that provides up-to-the-minute weather information in the US, Europe.
Make sure you get this app, My Radar. It's really good. He's got the locations for all the Star Citizen spots in it. This is an org mate of mine that makes this app. I talk to him every week. Yeah, please support him. Get My Radar.
And Japan, with service in Australia coming in by the end of 2018. It allows Star Citizen players to view detailed maps of the moons in-game as well. Yela, Selin, and Daymar. A new version will be released this month that includes new features, including outpost markers and updated maps. Today's video is brought to you by F-Secure Total Premium.
Well, I'm not 100% sure, Oxford, what's actually going on, but it might be. I'm not 100% sure what he's smoking, but it might be. I don't know. Okay, next up, we're gonna have. Let me see. Just want to check. No. So we'll go right to the noob. Last video before we go into gameplay. Alright. 17 hours ago. What we know from the leaks. All
Hello,
right.
YouTubers. This is the Noobifier. We're 1 week out from CitizenCon when I think we're going to see some good progress since last year. With a couple of leaks from Evocati and a roadmap update, I think it's time to take a look at what we know so far. Welcome to a rundown of the current status of the 10 new ships and buggies coming in patch 3.3. I'll start out with the Cyclone variants. The base model is such a blast to drive. Even when compared to some of the speeders, it's totally capable of taking the bumps from point A to point B. The leaks confirm that scramble races are a thing, which is great news for the Cyclone fans. The Cyclone RC is the racing variant with quad exhausts for some reason, higher top speed, and a larger boost reserve. The TR is turreted, and it's capable of mounting small ship weapons. The AA or anti-aircraft also has a turret, but this time it mounts small ship missiles and also equips an EMP. The RN is reconnaissance with slightly augmented scanners. Some have wondered if you could use this with a prospector to scout out mineable ore. The Cyclone variants are listed as in the polishing phase. Next is the long-awaited Mustang series. Personally, I feel like the changes have strayed too far from the original, but it might start to grow on me. The Mustang was launched as the main competitor to the Aurora as the king of the starter ships. No matter, if you're looking for a starter, please look at the Avenger Titan. So, the Alpha is the basic cargo starter, but it's been adjusted so you can manually move cargo on board by hand. The Beta is meant for exploration. It's a Winnebago, otherwise known as a Bangstang. With the update, it got larger and it features a full suite of creature comforts and should still have larger fuel reserves. The Delta is the fighter with better armor, rocket pods, and extra weapon hardpoints. I'm planning to do a review of this starter fighter if we get a useful flight model and some love for ESP. The Omega and Gamma both were racers with slight variations, but that seems to have gone to the wayside. It's not much more than a skin. They're fast and agile, but were never really competitive against the M50 and 350R. I'm curious to see if they add more race types if they're going to eventually find their own. The Mustang variants are listed in the polishing phase. The Hammerhead is due out in 3.3, but with the leaked info, it doesn't look like they've hit Evocati testing yet. It got a massive upgrade as it's now a 2-story monster dotted with turrets. I have a detailed rundown of the most up-to-date information linked for you right now and in the credits. Please take a look. The ship is listed as polishing. And finally, a ship that I never understood until recently, the Constellation Phoenix. In my opinion, the Phoenix design puts the 600 to shame. There seems to be a clear, higher level of luxury in the interior despite it being smaller. The Phoenix illustrates to me that the 600 needs a revisit. I have a detailed rundown from Friday's RTV of the most recent information linked up for you right now. The Phoenix is listed as 43 out of 76 tasks complete. And that's it. Thanks very much for spending your time with me. CitizenCon is a week away, and I hope that we see some major progress. Fly safe, and I'll see you in the verse.
All right. That was our friend the Noobifier. I'm going to put a link. Please like and subscribe. I'm thinking about playing Far Cry 5 tonight. So, what I'm going to do is turn the music back on for a minute. And I'm gonna go refresh my drink, and I'm gonna come back and we're gonna go into gameplay. So I'm gonna leave you guys to talk amongst yourselves for about 5 minutes, and I'll be right back. Alright, good night, Ox, if you're still there. Okay, I gotta change the thing over to Far Cry 5. Good evening to you, Fantech. You're always welcome, Fantech. It's taking an awfully long time to load here. So the hydration bot made me drink 3 beers already. The zookeeper left the refrigerator unlocked. I switched over to coffee. Okay, because I play so many games, I don't know where I'm at or what I'm doing. But there's something called a journal. It's gonna help me figure it out here. Oh, I guess the map. I'm in face area. There's like a main boss, and the main boss has got 2 brothers and a sister. I already killed his brother. And I'm in this lady's area clearing it out, but I'll tell you what, man, she scares me. But they say that to save Jacob for last. So I'm gonna continue working her area even though she scares me. Go here and you get your missions. This one I don't think has a map location. It's just these trucks on the road. Or no, it's the boats. There's some boats and trucks I gotta kill. And they'll be marked. Okay, yeah, we gotta go liberate. So these cultists have made all these camps. And they got prisoners and stuff in there, and you gotta go liberate them. I'm supposed to go burn these things. Oh, I remember now. And I couldn't figure out what I had to do to burn them. I think I used all my stuff I had. I'll try it one more time. Well, no button I press makes it burn. Maybe I get a better throw. Gotta make some? I don't know. I'm an idiot when it comes to this stuff. Liquor, Molotov cocktails, craft it. Yeah, I want to craft it. Got 7 bottles. Why can't I craft it?
Thanks for the help out of the jail.
How do you burn the plants? Well, there's fire over here. And there's some kind of icon I've never seen before. Do you know how to burn the plants? Map in there.
I know you're doing everything you can.
On behalf of all the Cougars, thank you. I wonder how old this building is.
All right. Use burning things. This is what I need to use. And so it looks like, and I got fasteners. So use the weapon wheel. Craft it using the weapon wheel. Okay. Craft it using the weapon wheel. Okay. Try the weapon wheel.
Some folks go a little crazy.
Okay. This is the weapon wheel.
Cougars couldn't have come this far
Craft.
without you.
Okay. I don't get it. I'm hitting the button.
Thanks for pitching in at the jail.
Okay, you gotta press and hold the button. Look at that. Okay. Yeah, and it used just one for each one.
Just want to say,
I know I'm not very exciting. Alright, let's try to burn this now.
Dr. Jessup sold out to the cult early. Devoted all
I got 7 tries, it looks like. I'm gonna try from right here. Well, looks like I hit it. Come on, guys, what do you think? You think I missed, or am I just doing something altogether wrong? I mean, that was definitely... Oh, there's sprinklers above it. Are you guys seeing that? Okay. I gotta shut the sprinklers off before I can burn this crap. That's what I'm doing wrong. Or maybe it's a watering system and you gotta do it when it's not watering. Let's try this one. I guess I was a little bit over. Okay, the timer's going down, maybe. No, it's a meters. But it's burning. Alright.
Deputy, sounds like there's trouble over there. Be careful. And remember, you gotta burn those bliss fields. That'll bring Feeney right to you.
Oh, I gotta burn them. So how do I have to shut this water off? Where's the shut off for this one? Over here. I gotta craft another one real quick. All right. Where are they at? Uh-oh. I hear them like they're like super close. Oh man, it went right through my one guy and into the other. I didn't mean to shoot my own guy, man.
Eden's Gate was never open to you.
Dude, I killed one of my own guys. Good night, Fanta. You take it easy.
They're burning the crops. Stop them for the father.
You can try to stop me if you want. How's the stream look, by the way, guys? Does it look nice and clear? Oh, right in the dick. Yeah, it hurt, didn't it? Put my bandage on here.
Burn to the clouds, hellfire. You asked for it.
I did. I don't think I said a word to you. I'm gonna loot your body. I didn't like what you said. Dude, I didn't mean to kill that guy. I feel bad. Oh, got one more to burn. Hunt animals and loot their skins and bait. I'm a wolf, sir.
Feeney's coming to you. Get ready. This is your chance. Okay, Beanie here. We're just arriving. What's going on down there?
I think I killed everything is what's going on down here. Sounds like a copter.
We've lost Jessup. It's in the ambush. Go, go! Meet at the rendezvous. We'll finish them off there.
I got a rocket launcher. Why would I go? I guess I'm gonna... Oh no, I want my rocket launcher back. Replace my ammo real quick before they come after me again. Come on.
Copy that.
Where's that helicopter I heard? plane.
Target confirmed.
There might be one of my guys in the air. Alright, let's check the journal. Head to Jacob's Conservatory. Liberate it from the cult and burn all the bliss plants that will bring the chemists. Feeny, right to you. Okay, so Feeny's the name of the chemist. Then you can deal with them. Okay, so we're gonna have to burn more bliss plants. So that means that I need to make sure I got plenty of these, which I don't. I can make one more. Oh, I hear something. My inventory's full. What the heck? Means I already got 3. Okay. Maybe I should loot some more bodies and search around, see if I can find any liquor bottles and whatever that other stuff was. I don't want that. I already looted that one. There you go. Looted him, I remember that. Might be some supplies in one of these buildings too. Sometimes they hide stuff from like weird spots that you wouldn't normally walk. Like here. Kind of looks like those jars that I need to build more. Holy shit. I didn't mean to light myself on fire. Oh, what the hell? Wow, I lit the whole building. My gun's in there. The fire better go out. I want my gun back. Holy shit. I hope that was entertaining for you guys. Twister Dam lit himself on fire. Oh, look at that. What the heck? Drugs. Oregano. Yeah, right.
These final batches need to be pure, our best. They're what we're gonna have while we wait out the collapse. I'm coming in to review the final shipment, and everything better be next to godliness. There's still time for fate to find you a more angelic calling.
All right. I came in through here. What the hell was that? Whoa. That's what it was. What's that? Crazy noises. Alright. Was I in here? No. All kinds of loot in here.
You took the Martian? Don't you see how much that hurt? I believe you.
See, it creeps me out because you hear Faith in the background. I just don't like this area. He scares me. And away we go, guys. Oh shit. Yeah, buddy. Baja. Woo. I like how the currents got me.
Thanks for keeping it.
This area creeps me out. So how's everybody doing in chat? You guys been quiet for a little bit. There's supposed to be some boats in here. That might be one of them. I think they'd be marked though, if it was one of those boats. Oh, got away. You'll be okay, son.
Excuse me. Over here. My whole life just played before my eyes. Listen, I saw truck after truck coming out of the old brewery, all loaded up with barrels full of drugs. That must be where they make it. Please, you gotta do something.
Tell me something I don't know. I'm taking this four-wheeler. Not you, buddy.
I'm out.
Trust me, I need it more than you. I hit E to get off of it. In my defense, I wanted to get off of it in midair, and I was gonna swim across the water. That wasn't supposed to happen. Thank God it's not one of them ultra realistic games, right? So I can use the map and I can fast travel. But it's over there, so... No. No. I can go here, I think. No, that just marks it. I'm gonna need a helicopter. I got a helicopter somewhere. Gotta look for the picture of the helicopter. Look where it's at. I'll have to fly there, I think. Here's fast travel place. But I don't think I can get a helicopter there. Here we go. It's a helicopter pad right there. So we'll go here and then go there, get the helicopter and fly over to there and clear that out. Well, that didn't work. I want to fast travel, so... Maybe I just click on it? F. Fast travel unavailable. It was unavailable. I just noticed I got my starting soon thing still flying. There we go. That's how it's supposed to look. I'm going to the helicopter. Map. Wait, I take it. Can't drive. Four-wheeler over here, I thought it said. There was a four-wheeler on the map. Straight that way. Uh-oh. Oh, that's an elite. Damn it. I was slow on that one. It's like crap, that was an elite. We're not playing around. Get my machine gun out. Elites. What kind of loot you got? Where's the vehicle they had? Oh, come on. Oh man, that would have should. I did. Okay, I killed him right in the head. That was a good shot. Oh, come on. Damn it. Did you guys enjoy that as much as I did? I didn't kill no innocents either.
That was close.
Oh,
Say that again.
I'm not really here to save you guys. I'm here to get to my helicopter. little skunk. I really do like this game because you can just leave it wherever you want to and nothing's really serious about it. I just cut a telephone pole in half with a truck and it's still running. That's amazing physics right there. As I said, it's not too real. Oh, when I get my helicopter, I'm gonna kill you all.
Someone's gonna take notice, cowboy.
Let them take notice. I got a helicopter and it's got guns on it. Okay.
I can't believe I'm alive. You gotta find Vince Booker.
You guys ready for this? I hope you guys are.
Target acquired.
There we go. They're shooting at me and everything. Getting the hell out of here. That might be one of those boats I'm supposed to kill. Come on, where'd it go? Is it right underneath me? Right underneath me? It's not giving me the thing, but I know I'm supposed to shoot that guy. One of those trucks. No more drugs for you. I think if I fly over the water, I got less of a chance of somebody hitting me with a rocket launcher. Uh-oh. Getting away from that guy. I think I hear another plane or something. Okay, I'm supposed to liberate this camp here. Oh, we got a helicopter too. Ow, 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 ow. Ow, it was a bad landing. Oh, wow. Did you guys see that shit? And it didn't crash. That's good physics, man. Dude, this isn't the base. I think they're like under the ground. Oh yeah.
You think you can stop this? Eating cake.
Damn it. I got hung up on the damn ladder. I died for some of the dumbest crap. Is that all of them? I'll be right back. I gotta let my dog out. All right, Twister is back. I'm looking for loot. Okay, let's go down in the hole and shoot that guy. This is what I'm not getting. Am I supposed to... There we go.
You think you can stop this? Eden's Gate is bigger than you.
Wow, Deputy, you got him. No more Feeney, no more drug chemistry. We're getting rid of that bliss. Ain't that something? I'm proud of you, Deputy. I think my boy would be proud too.
All right. Beanie's down. That didn't sound good. Some good whiskey, huh? Alright. I don't see any secret doors or anything. Ah. What am I supposed to do? Got a keyhole. Looks like I need to find a key. And he didn't have the key. I looted his body. Key. Seeing a key. Okay, so if I lived here, where would I put the key? Yeah. Alright, let's put one of these on here and see if we can blow it up. That didn't work. Oh, I gotta find the key. Is it in the toilet? No, the key's not in the toilet. Guess I don't have to find the key. I can just move on. Full loot. Maybe the key's up here somewhere. So we got a helicopter to get the hell out of here with. Okay, we were up here and I believe we looted everything. If I really wasn't looking for a key. Drawer? Nope. All right. I don't see any key. Oh, a fishing rod. I can't take it. I don't see any guns on their helicopter. Where's my helicopter? Much better. Alright, I'll go do something with the whiskey there. Okay. Man, this is kind of fun. Anybody see any movement? Oh, here's one. Damn, these guys are playing rough, man. They're shooting mortars at me. Oh no. Alright. I think it's time for me to go to bed. Let's see who we're gonna raid tonight. See who's on. I got the magic list. Oh boy, we're in for a treat. You guys want to get crazy? This guy's crazy. This guy, he just woke up and he is all pumped up on coffee and he is very energetic. So I'm sure you're gonna like Time of Chaos. I just gotta successfully queue up the raid here. I'm telling you, give this guy at least 15 minutes before you judge. I mean, he looks crazy. He is crazy, but he's entertaining. He really does the job. He's got lots of videos he made, and he's got a unique set of music. I'm starting a raid right now for him. All right. I'd like to thank everybody that came tonight. I hope you enjoyed the news. Tomorrow will be Oxford doing the news. And see you guys. Good night, man. Loved it.
Stop getting sidetracked. Holy hell, that's a lot. There's a lot of Archons he had there. Hey, Twister. How are you doing, buddy? Thank you so much for that. Twister coming in with them. Oh, I'm in so much trouble. We must hold this. That's good. Nice start.
Swarm forces under attack.
Has he got a third down here? No, he doesn't. Okay, that's good. Raid! Yeah, welcome to all the Twisters viewers. You're almost welcome here. Sorry, I only just woke up, to be honest, and I'm in the middle of this absolutely mad game already. It's like, what? What's going on? Yeah, I hope you're all well. What are you up to? Have you done a shout out? Please do a shout out for Mr. Twister. What were you playing, buddy? Star Citizen. Can I take this? I'm not sure. Yeah. You let me power up.
Quantity insufficient.
I mean, you're better at concave than that. Oh, I thought I'd already stepped up to Hive, but I forgot. Creep spread, creep spread. Send in the little agents that pretend to be them. Okay, let's go. Oh, we got some in. I think he's in trouble. It's gotta be it. That's it. It's gotta be. No GG for me. Not bad. I was watching just a stream. Playing Star Citizen. Couldn't just move the mouse over.